I am Danica.
And I am Myra, and this is the Black Women Healing Podcast.
A space to discuss mental wellness.
A space to dive into soul care and vulnerability.
Here, we will support you on your journey as you focus on your healing,
while also giving you the work along the way.
Welcome to Black Women Healing Podcast. Hey everybody, we are back with another episode of Black Women Healing Podcast. And as usual, we have a special guest. But before we introduce our special guest, we're going to start off with a random topic. So, random topic. What is a random hack? I'm going to ask you first, Myra. What is a random hack you have learned that you feel like everyone should know?
Ooh, a random hack. Ooh, there's one I actually just saw on TikTok, which I was like, I'm gonna do that. It's where you get a panty liner and you put like whatever fragrance you want on it, whether it be like an essential oil, whatever, and you stick it in your trash can and it keeps that scent.
It keeps the scent in the trash?
Yeah, so it'll keep, let's say if you do like a eucalyptus oil, it'll keep that scent going in the trash can.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay. Oh, I'm thinking about this one. It's like, I think, you be having so many of them, but I'm trying to think like what's kind of random. I'm not sure.
I know something I learned recently, actually. Okay, you get a shopping cart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you push open the top, and there's like, it's shaped like a U almost. That U part is supposed to hold your purse straps.
Oh, you talking about
yeah, pay attention when you push it open. I never knew that. I just learned that the other day. I was like, oh.
Look at me now.
Yeah, I was like, I thought that was just how it was shaped.
Wow. So it's supposed to hold your purse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, no. I don't know. I'm struggling a little bit. Gabby, you got anything on your mind you thinking of? Random hack?
Yeah, I would say it's more internal than external. Like a random life hack that I've utilized is like take what applies and leave the rest. So when you're talking to people or when you're going through life and you like seeing something that may trigger you, it's like leave what doesn't apply to you, or leave what you don't subscribe to or you don't connect to, and take what you do. Like you don't have to internalize everything somebody says or does.
Absolutely. I love that.
I love that. That's going to be our quote of the week.
That's amazing. I guess I'll just say the thing that's on my mind, something that I don't even think I do, but I know that a lot of Black families do it, which is like if you put the Fabuloso on the stove or any type of smell good, especially just Fabuloso, that's what we know of, then your house is gonna smell bomb. So if you don't know.
Yeah, that's a ghetto hack right there.
For real. You just gave me a flashback to my childhood.
Right. That smell, like, hold on, what's going on? What you
It's cleaning day. It's cleaning day. That's the smell of cleaning day.
Yeah.
Fabuloso.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Oh, now you made me think of a cool life hack, actually. So if you boil like cinnamon and orange peels, it's actually a really good tea, but it also makes your house smell really good.
Cinnamon and orange peels?
Your respiratory system.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'm gonna try that one. Cinnamon and orange peels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So hopefully y'all enjoyed our random discussion, and Myra's gonna go ahead and introduce our special guest.
Yeah, so we have a very special guest today. We have Gabby. She's a healer, lover, writer, messenger, and founder of Gemstone Healing. Gabby advocates for healthy consumption, mental health awareness, and spiritual ascension. She curates all of her services and events with deep intention, transparency, and unconditional love, giving individuals of her community an outlet where they feel free and safe to surrender, receive, heal, love, and ultimately create a life of wholeness. Gabby is a very special guest to me because I have known her since I was in elementary school, I think like 5th grade. So this goes way back. So I'm excited to have her on today. So to get us started, can you tell us about your journey to creating Gemstone Healing?
Yes. Okay. So first, I just want to thank Danica and Myra for having me on the show, allowing me to come on their platform and speak about what's so essential to my heart. My journey to gemstone healing began, well, originally I was just, you know, a licensed esthetician, and I was strictly focusing on skincare. I was looking for something that was going to differentiate me and what I wanted to do from the average esthetician. And so I started like looking and finding that with my clients, like the thing that was like the root cause of their like stress or issues with their skin, which is almost like the root cause of anything, any problem or issue that we're having, was self-esteem or internal issues, right? And so I originally was like, okay, so now I'm gonna like base all of my skincare services around like internal healing. And so in doing that, because I like to be as vulnerable with my clients as I can, I started doing my own internal work, going to therapy, finding different modalities to use to connect with myself and with my traumas and just heal myself. So meditation and yoga and working inward. And I found that when I started to do that work, it reflected externally. Like my skin was thriving. I had more energy and more motivation to get up and be more strict with my routine, with my regimen. And so I was like, oh, this actually works, you know? And then sound healing found me. I was like, while doing all this healing work and inner work, I was guided to sound healing, and sound healing was guided to me. And I started to see like this is like a cheat code. It's like a cheat code to internal healing. And so I'm like, oh, I just want to put everybody onto this. Like, I want to give this to everybody. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the first step to giving this to, you know, people outside of myself? Bring it into my work. So I rebranded all of my skin services to focus on internal healing, therefore bringing modalities like meditation, sound healing, energy work to them so that we could get to the root issues instead of like quick fixes. We can get to the root issues of what it is that is causing your skin to flare up, or what is it that's causing you to not be confident in your skin. And so, yeah, that's what led me to gemstone.
Wow. Oh my goodness, I love this. The healing from the inside out type of thing.
Yeah, you never hear about this.
Yeah. So, and thank you for walking us through your journey and giving us a thorough breakthrough of that, because I do think it's really important. So sound healing is a new healing modality for a lot of folks, including myself. So if you could explain what sound healing is and also share with us some benefits you have experienced and what people are saying about it, that would be great.
My experience with my clients, or just with people in general that I come across that I have shared just maybe any little bit of what I do or an entire session with them, I always get the initial response is like, wow, what was that? That I feel amazing. Like they just are in complete awe and shock of what their bodies and what they have just went through. And so it's always like reassuring to me in those moments. I'm like, oh, like, I'm so happy that I was able to give you something in this moment, or I was happy that you were able to release something in this moment. So, you know, those are the initial responses. And I also get clients who come in with heavy energy, you know, and by the end of our session, they're lighter. You can feel it, you can see it, they feel it. And I've had clients who release on the table, they're crying, they're like, you know, I've had clients who are just kind of like so deep in a meditative state that they're able to connect to points that they were not able to within on their own. And so those are like the shorter term effects that I see. But I also see clients that I've had who come in and they're talking about the things that they want to manifest in their lives, and or the things that they're just struggling to let go of. And you know, this energy they truly want to transmute, but they just don't know how to. And I look after our session, I look at them like months later, or I'll talk to them months later, and they're either telling me, or I can just witness and see like the work that we did gave them a clear channel. It gave them, like I was saying earlier, that cheat code at manifesting the things that they want for themselves. And I'm so grateful to be able to do that for people and for myself, you know? So I love sharing my work, and I love talking about it and getting people more informed on what it is that I do, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about this new work that people are diving into, these modalities. There's a lot of misconceptions, and also aside from the misconceptions, it's becoming very trendy, you know, to be more spiritual or to find these spiritual tools. And in one sense, it's like people are like, they can get consumed with the fact that it's trendy and be like, it's trendy. This is just something like that's hype, you know? But I'm actually grateful that this work is becoming trendy, because it's real work. It's real spiritual. It's really connecting to the spirit. So no matter if you're only using it to, you know, be on the latest trend, you can't fight what this is actually going to do for your life. So whether you realize it or not, something is going to happen for you internally. Something is going to happen to connect you to your most authentic self.
Yeah, you're giving me a kind of like a flashback when you came to Femme Scholar, and the girls, they are still talking about it. They're like, when is she coming back? Can we do this more often? I'm like, yeah, but we got to plan it. And they're really hyped to jump in. But for our listeners, I'm wondering, can you like give them a sense of what it looks like when you have like a sound healing session?
Yes. So first, I like to create a safe space. So one, just coming in very vulnerable, very transparent with whoever it is I'm coming in contact with. And that just looks like me being my complete self. And from day to day, that might change. I might come in, I might just be like, yeah, y'all, I'm having one of them days. Or I might come in like, hey, let's set the tone for stillness. You know, like it may vary, but it's just me being transparent. So that's the first step, because I feel like, you know, real recognizes real, you know, and no matter if you put up a facade, every day when you come in contact with real, there's only two things that's going to happen. The real version of you is going to come out and surface, or you're going to retreat and you're going to run away, you know? And so I just encourage the real, so that we like know who's here to really get to the to get to the like surface of who they are, and who's really scared, you know? So that's just like the first thing. And it's okay to be scared. I'm scared sometimes, you know, and I set the tone for that too. Like, this is a safe place. So if you're scared, you know, it's okay. And if you're not, like, let's get cracking. But so that's first. And then two, second, I really kind of set the tone with my bowls and with my sound healing. I do a lot of vocalizing. I use tuning forks, I use sound bowls, I use crystal healing, all these different modalities to create just a higher vibration of energy, so that while we're sitting in our most vulnerable and transparent versions, that part of us can be charged by the energy work that's happening around us, you know. And when that happens, because when you're the most vulnerable and when you allow yourself to surrender, that's the best time for healing work, That's the best time for reflection. That's the best time for, you to dive into yourself and release and forgive those parts that are just scary or hard, or, that make you angry or whatever. And so I guide my clients, or I guide my sessions through meditations that focus on love and forgiveness and healing.
Yes, this most definitely sounds like one of those like healing modalities that you have to experience. You have to experience it, right? Like it can only be like expressed in so many different ways. Like you said, anytime someone says they felt like wow and they don't have words after any type of healing, you already know, okay, this is something that you're going to feel, right? So thank you so much for explaining that. And I'm most definitely interested. But going to the next question, how has your journey influenced your relationship with those in your life?
My journey has influenced my relationships in many different ways. I think for one starters, it's just been inspiring for the people around me, to know what it is that I've gone through or come from, and to see me diving so deep into this work, and then really allowing myself to be a vessel for other people to heal and become the best version of themselves, or a version of love, And I think that right there, like alone, when you take your pain and you transmute it into a force where people can like connect to you, and they can feel seen in themselves, in their own healing process. I think that's just so powerful, and it motivates people, and it inspires people to do the same. So I definitely think that people around me see this work and they're like, okay, I want to do this for myself. I want to have this for myself. As well as people have actually told me, your work or what you have done or what I see you do is very inspiring to me. It makes me want to get on my spiritual journey. It makes me want to dive deeper and find the connections with my inner self and heal those parts of me that cause me to be less vibrational than I would want to be, And so those when I get those messages, I'm just like, it's reassurance. It's definitely reassurance. It's confirmation to keep doing what I'm doing. And then it requires a certain level of like, it requires me to accept and only allow a certain level of, what am I trying to say? It sets the tone for how I have to move in my relationships, you know? So it's like, I have to be a clear channel in order to provide this type of work, in order to create a safe enough space within myself and with externally for other people. So it means that I can't be wounded and walking around constantly wounded, because then I won't be a clear channel to help other people heal. I have to be constantly healing. And that doesn't mean like I don't have bad days. And it doesn't mean that I'm not like struggling with some of my work as well. It just means that like I have to create I have to feel safe within my relationships, you know, and I have to create safe relationships. And so there's certain stuff that I can't subscribe to anymore. And there's a tone that I have to say, like, I can only accept loving relationships and relationships that dwell in accountability and constant growth and ascension. So, that has done a lot for me within my relationships. Like I've had to create so many boundaries within relationships now. And so some of my relationships are definitely not the same. And some of them are growing. And it's like they're not the same in a good way. They're growing, and they're like manifesting into something that I didn't even know like I needed from this relationship. And some of them are just like, oh, okay, like we're not on the same page anymore, and that's okay. But I can't be stagnant, and I can't be blocked anymore just because of what I've been called to do. So that's kind of, I guess, how my relationships have manifested and how they've kind of changed since doing this work.
That is beautiful. It's making me think about how when we're on this journey of whether it be like however people want to define themselves, whether it be a healer, a therapist, or whatever type of position you're on, when you're helping other people, how you always have to be nurturing yourself so that you can fully do the work that you're called to do. So I think that was really beautiful. Ugh, I like that a lot. I wanted to ask you, because I was exploring your website and I saw rose quartz shadow therapy, and I was like, what is that? I want to hear more about that. And then I saw the Selling Team light ritual, and I saw a host of other things, and I was like, okay, I need you to tell me what all this stuff is. I was like, other people need to know too.
Right, yeah, because, you know, the titles they're kind of like, woo. You know, it's kind of, no, I get it. But it's really to emphasize the magic of it, you know, the magic of what this is. And so, yeah, I'm happy to explain what this looks like. So selenite light ritual, to just give information on what selenite is. It's a crystal, and it's a crystal that not only charges energy, but it absorbs negative energy or the energy that no longer serves you, and it transmutes it, and then it gives you back light energy. So that's so cool, because we have a lot of stones that just kind of absorb the energy. It takes it away, or it gives you something. So with selenite, it's a very powerful stone because it's able to transmute your energies. So I utilize that crystal to reconnect people back to their center. So it's just like a booster, like an energy boost. That's what that ritual is. And one thing, a reason why my services are called rituals is because I want to influence people to get back to ritual work. And ritual is just anything you do consistently. It doesn't have to be all like woo-woo and witchy or any of that stuff. You know, that's what it's been. Like, we've been indoctrinated to think that like ritual work or anything that is indigenous, that comes from like indigenous or tribal communities, is like, oh, that's like not for us, it's savage, it's this, it's that, you know. And so I want to get back. I want our people to get back to like the root of what ritual work actually is. Ritual work is simply what it says. A ritual, something you do all the time, consistently, you know? And so with this, it's like with the selenite work, we just go in and we set the tone for you to create a ritual of healing, a ritual of connecting to yourself, a ritual of rebalancing yourself through breath work, through energy work, through sound healing, you know, or whatever it is that you subscribe to, but making a ritual out of it. And so the rose quartz shadow work is similar, but it's a little bit deeper. It's a little bit, like I said, it's deeper. We're going deeper. So like, if people are familiar with what shadow work is, shadow work is just connecting to all of the lower frequency energies that dwell in us daily, you know, anxiety, fear, shame, you know, self-hatred, depression, all of these things that we are all struggling with, and trying to pull ourselves out of, right? So at the root of those issues, it came from childhood. It came from something that happened to you during your younger years, your growing years, right? The focal points of your growth and ascension. So what we do in the shadow work is we utilize holistic healing. So all of the modalities that I've talked about, the sound healing, the energy work. And we take those tools and we combine them with reflective truth seeking. So I ask questions that, get that not force, but that entail for you to really surrender and tell yourself the truth. Because it's only you, it's only you. You see, you and you. It's a conversation with you and you. I'm there, but internally, I can't hear what you say, So it's really just to inspire people to be their most authentic self with their self, And so we, like I said, we dig into deep reflective questions. Who are you? Do you like yourself? Do you like the person that you are? Who do people see you to be? And how does the way people view you make you feel about how you view yourself, And just these deeper questions, and we go deeper than that, but we do that and we utilize, like I said, those holistic healing modalities to regenerate that energy, to reconnect back to our inner most pure self, so that we can manifest a reality of love versus a reality of pain.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for breaking that down. Now I feel like I've been missing something that I need to engage in. So I'll be making an appointment back when I'm in LA.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. No, yeah, and I think that it's hard to like dive into some of these deep questions, like, because life is hard and life moves very fast. Everything just keeps on going and going and going, and nothing stops for you or your traumas or your issues, right? Nothing stops for it. So to tell yourself to stop and to hone in on your feelings, it's like, ooh, do I really want to do all of that? Or am I aware that I need to do that? So we'll just like keep on going, And I think that shadow work is a really, really good tool to slowing you down and reconnecting you with like your inner self. Like, what is it that I truly feel today? Why do I have an attitude for no reason? It may just because it's hot outside, but it may be because something deeper, And so it's just connecting you to the depths of yourself, because we're very complex, and on a regular day it seems simple, but it's always deeper. It's always deeper than what we think it is.
Yep. I was really curious about asking you this. And so if you could engage someone in a writing prompt to support them in their self-love or healing journey, what would you have them write about?
I think right now, just a big topic for me, or a big essential theme in my life, is shadow work. I'm at that point in my life, and that's why I can give so much information on this topic, because I'm actually doing this work for myself. And I'm like finding the tools and I'm finding the healing out of it. And so I am curating my services around my own healing process, And so what I would say is, I would give a couple of questions, reflective questions that are shadow work. That is like you doing your shadow work. I will advise people to get a like a specific journal for shadow work. Get a journal and be your most authentic version in that. Like the parts of you that you would just be like, girl, you're doing too much. You're free to do too much in this journal. And then, set yourself up to answer these questions in the most truthful way you can.
Okay. So I know you just talked about shadow work questions in general. Do you have any takeaways specifically for our listeners? It could be anything you can think about, like anything that comes to mind that you just want the listeners to know, favorite quote, anything like that. What would you say?
I would say to not be afraid of yourself, to not be afraid of yourself, to really allow yourself to thrive by digging deeper, by really connecting and like connecting to your full potential, because if you think that you are excelling right now, when you really dig deep and be accountable and hone in on like the love that is needed to heal these parts of yourself, then you're able to transmute that energy outward and be a more compassionate, loving, accountable person to everybody around you, and that benefits us all. It benefits the kids, it benefits, your parents. It's like that saying of like, when you start your healing journey and you start to heal yourself, you heal 7 generations behind you and above and in front of you, and so it's really like, that's really true, and I'm witnessing it, so I think that it's really like, take your time with yourself.
Yes, absolutely. So today I'm hoping that our listeners got as much of this episode that I've experienced. I feel like I've learned a lot, and I feel like I'm leaving wanting to experience it as well. So we'll have your information in the show notes. Is there anything else? Do you have any events or anything else you want to share really quick?
So I did prepare, like, I'll send it to you guys too, and I prepared like some shadow work questions.
Yes.
For the listeners, and for you guys' podcast and everything, just like some things that you can like reflect on, a couple questions. And then, as far as gemstone, I believe in divine timing. And for like a business owner, that sounds so crazy. Like, I know that I gotta, like, there's things that I gotta like get on, but I truly believe that people will connect when they're ready. And I don't want anyone to come before they're ready, so just like, when you're ready, I'm here, and it's love either way,
Absolutely. I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Gabby, and I hope you have the rest of a good Sunday.
Yes.
Thank you. You guys as well.
Yes. So I really enjoyed this, having Gabby on. I've been connecting with her a lot lately. She helped me with my book. She came to Femme Scholars to our retreat. And so she's like been like my big sister since 2004. So it's nice to stay connected to her and just, see how she's transforming people's lives and her lives. So happy to have her. That's my takeaway. Just happy to have her. And I'm planning to go to one of her sessions. I've been telling her I'm gonna come, but it just never fits my schedule. So now I'm like, let me be intentional and go.
Agreed. That is exactly what I'm leaving with. I'm leaving with, like some stuff, and I do agree with her where you have to be ready, but some stuff you just have to experience. You can't just listen to someone, talk about it. And I know, in our podcast, we try to bring you out different modalities and different ways that people are healing, but some of them you can't really talk about. You got to go and experience it. So if you do feel ready, I encourage you to experience it, because I'm feeling ready, so I want to experience it. Yeah, this is cool. So I'm glad that we had her, and we'll have another episode Monday. Follow us on all platforms. Myra has a resilient tea coming up. What's the date, Myra?
I don't know. No, I think it's June 25th. I have so many things happening in June. I
know.
We'll share that with y'all, and thank y'all for tuning into this week's episode of Black Women Healing Podcast. So y'all, we have to shout out our friends over at Fiverr. We are officially a Fiverr affiliate, and I love Fiverr because you can literally go to them for any type of project you might want to work on, whether it be if you need a new logo, you need help with the resume, you need help with social media, they help you over there. So go ahead and check out our friends over at Fiverr. That's 5ERR. So 5 with 2 R's at the end. So go ahead and check them out with the link in our bio and tell them that we sent you.